Drums beat in the distance as villagers whispered about Temba, the broad-shouldered, tall young man with deep ebony skin, sharp cheekbones, and a jawline like carved stone. Despite his strength, he was a man of pride, refusing every woman who came his way. His father, Bako, a tall, thin elder with a silver beard down to his chest and eyes that carried both wisdom and sorrow, watched silently. Little did the village know, a plan was forming, one that would turn pride into humility and loneliness into love. That night, as the orange sun drowned behind distant hills, Bako sat outside his small hut, rubbing his aching knees, listening to the laughter of families inside their homes. He felt the weight of his lineage slipping away, for Temba refused to marry. Suitors came with daughters, bright smiles like the morning sun, but Temba turned them all away. Bako's heart ached, not for wealth, but for the emptiness his son carried. Bako decided that wisdom must come not with words, but with an experience his son would never forget. Under the starlit sky, he wrapped himself in tattered rags, smeared dust upon his face, and picked up a wooden staff. The elder who was once respected would now become invisible, a beggar among his own people. The next morning, a hunched old beggar appeared in the marketplace, leaning on a crooked staff, his silver beard hidden beneath dirt, his once proud robe now torn into threads. Temba passed him without a glance, carrying his hunting tools and talking with friends. Among the crowd was Abeni, a humble weaver with cocoa-brown skin that glowed like bronze in the sun, long braided hair, and soft almond-shaped eyes. Every day she passed the beggar and offered him roasted maize, smiling as though he were her own grandfather. Temba saw her kindness but dismissed it. Why waste food on a useless old man? He mocked one day to his friends. Pride sat heavy on his tongue like bitter cola, blinding him from what truly mattered. One afternoon, dark clouds swallowed the sky, and rain struck like spears. Villagers ran for shelter, but Abeni ran to cover the beggar, draping her shawl over him as the storm drenched her. From afar, Temba saw this, and something inside him shifted for the first time. The next days, Temba began to secretly bring leftovers to the beggar, fixing his broken staff, asking nothing in return. Abeni noticed, and their words grew warmer, their smiles softer. Months passed. One moonlit night, the beggar fell to the ground, groaning with fake illness. Villagers passed, some pitying, none stopping, except Abeni, who cried for help, and Temba, who came running. Temba lifted the frail man on his shoulders, his strong back bending for the first time for another. He carried him home, as Abeni followed with a clay pot of water. As Abeni brewed herbal tea and wiped the beggar's forehead, Temba watched her quietly. A strange warmth stirred in him, not desire, but respect, then something deeper. Nights became longer. The three often sat under the stars, sharing stories. Abeni speaking of dreams, Temba asking questions he once thought foolish. The beggar smiling in silence. Whispers spread. Temba was changing. The once proud hunter now shared his hunt, carried water, and spoke with gentleness. Mothers began to wonder if love had finally found him. One dawn, the beggar vanished. No trace, no farewell. Temba searched, Abeni wept, but the old man was gone like smoke. Days later, drums summoned the village to the ancient meeting tree. There stood Bako, not a beggar, but the proud elder again, in a robe of brown and gold, his silver beard shining like moonlight. Bako revealed his disguise. "I search for a woman who would love with no promise of wealth," he said, turning to Temba, "and a son who would bend his pride for the sake of kindness." Temba turned to Abeni, his voice humble. "I once thought love was a trap. Now I see it as a gift. Will you walk beside me?" The wedding was simple. Strings of marigolds, drums of goat skin, barefoot children dancing under the moon. No gold, no feasts, just joy that filled the air like rain after drought. Bako sat watching them, his silver beard catching moonlight. His plan had worked, not to find a bride, but to find his son's heart. Years later, their love still grew. And in that village, people said, the man who once refused love found the richest treasure in the heart of the girl who gave maize to a beggar.